You know, I got asked by someone who thought I said, "Do we have a soul before?" And I'm always very careful to only say exactly what my experience was. And so it was a gray wall. That's what they showed me. I wasn't allowed to see that. And they showed me choose my mother, they showed me drowned, and they showed me what my life would be like when I went back. But they didn't show me that until after they showed me God and said, you know, if you don't go back, you can't have that. What they should have said really was, when you go back, you get that. But I felt tricked because they told me you can't have that. You can't have that unless you go back. See, I thought the wording was a little suspect. That's why I attacked the guy that resuscitated me. I don't know that if we had a soul before this. They wouldn't allow me to see it. I tell people, look, this happens in real life, the dual slit experiment. You put a monitor on this side of the slit divide. Sorry, interference pattern goes away. You put a monitor on that side of the slit divide, and the interference pattern goes away because the particle somehow goes back in time. No, everything they showed me everything that I experienced was from that gray wall up. That's what I can tell you. You know, when one of my subs asked me, did we have a soul before that? And they thought that I had said that. I've never said that. That I was not allowed to know anything about this side of the gray wall, period. I don't know what transition, I don't remember any transition from there to here, like being born and then growing up. Wasn't like that. I don't think it was like that, but I can't say. It was just a gray swirling like a cloud when they said you were before, during, and after. But they wouldn't show me before, only during and after. It was their wording that kind of angered me, because I said, yeah, I'm going back, because I was drowned in love and understanding. And there was a lot about my experience that there's things that happened that I relate to now today that I didn't relate to before. But that's for other videos. I'm trying to focus to answer my sub's question about, did we have a soul before? No. I don't remember anything about it. I can't comment about how I got from there to the next stage. I didn't ask. Of all the questions, I was questions after questions. That's all I did the whole time. And no, I just can't. It was not allowed any more than we're allowed to monitor the dual slit experiment. You know what? So what are they so afraid of? What are scientists so afraid of? You know, I could give a shit about probability of wave collapse. None of that. I understand the concepts and I accept them. Okay, good, thank you. Why can't we monitor the experiment? Isn't that the real mystery of the dual slit experiment? Is that we're not allowed to monitor that experiment, or the result changes? What the hell is that? How come there's not a major paper? I've never read or heard of a major paper that explained that satisfactorily to me. That this is why it happens, because you can't say if you can't monitor. If you can't observe on either side without changing the experiment, well then you don't know. Why? Why is it so important for the universe to have us not know that? What is it that we don't know that the universe doesn't want us to know? So yeah, it happens even in everyday life. That gray wall was a gray wall, and that was it. They showed me the world and said choose, and it was obvious it was her, and I said her. And my feeling is that you start consciousness the moment you create an action, a motion, a movement, a sound. When you create information in the universe of choice, not instinct. that's consciousness. I can't say at what age that happens. Before in the womb or what, I can't say. But I know that the very second by choice you create information in the universe, you're good. If you die in that moment, you go right to where I went or probably straight to God. You see, I had a problem in my life. I committed suicide selfishly because I didn't fear death, and I left a lot of people in my wake who needed me because they feared life and they feared death, and because they lost faith in God, because they saw religion wasn't about God. Religion's about men controlling men. I was drowned in love and understanding. It had nothing to do with religion. God is just love. He doesn't play our games. Leave good information. Everything you do, every blessing that you give to another person, okay, it goes on as in magnified 1,000 times. This has nothing to do with churches, trust me, or religion, or any religious figure that ever existed. They are nothing compared to God. Try to explain your iPhone to an amoeba. When I say that, people are like, oh, that's kind of ridiculous. But if you think about it, there is no starting point. There is no starting point. That's how far away we are from understanding our existence. This is all a persistent illusion. The holographic pencil of reality says you take all this 3D information and slam it onto a 2D surface, and it's all there. And if you look at a hologram, you can go like this and look around the back side like that. That information is there, and it exists on a 2D surface. That information is coming from somewhere infinitely far away. That's what they say now in quantum mechanics. That's the information you provided before that first point, maybe on the other side of the gray wall. All decisions, information, that's who you are. That's who you are, and those are the decisions you made, okay? Hitler was a fucking Hitler behind the gray wall. That's my thought. But the thing about God is, once you're born, you can change that information anytime you want. You can always become a better person. This is why I say, never judge people who they are today, okay? You never put yourself above anyone else, because people can change. I've seen good people go bad and bad people become better. Leave good information. Always help your brother. Yes, you are your brother's keeper. And it's better to give than receive. You know, it's been said so many times it kind of gets more than cliche, but it's the truth. That information goes on and it magnifies forever, and that is positive information, and that's what God wants, and that's what the universe wants. That's why that circle of beings, like an accretion disk around a central pillar, was in level of spirituality and maturity and wisdom and knowledge and those kind of things all the way out. Untold trillions. You know, a trillion times, 10 to the 35th power. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many beings there were. Just try to understand that when I talk about my experience, I want you to experience it the way I experienced it. I talk about what I experienced and how throughout life I related to it, and how it changed me throughout life, and how it affected me throughout life. It's not just this is what happened during this drowning and now da-da-da. No, it changed my life, my whole direction. And I fought it my whole life until the epiphany day when I was like, okay, that's it. I'm 100% convinced. I'm not going to ask anymore. I just didn't understand that the bridge that we were on was this device, or the fact that I can reach people even through print, podcast, whatever I want to do in the future. It doesn't matter as long as I'm talking about what happened to me, because there are people out there who have understand that religion's bullshit. They've had enough of the hypocrisy. And, the majority of mass murderers are Christians. The majority of mass murderers, Christians. Not trans people, Christians. The majority of mass killers in history, Christians. So, yeah. I have the list on my phone. You are your brother's keeper. I know that. You are. We're all responsible. At any time, anyone can change it. Any time you can change the direction of your life for the good or the bad. God gives you that freedom. You're not locked into what you created before. You can change. You don't have to become a mass murdering maniac like Hitler, but that's what he chose. That's what they told me when I looked at the bad things that I had done. They said, yeah, but that's what you chose. There's no hiding. Your information is maintained perfectly. And it's exposed to everyone. This is why the place where I was at is like a cleaning station. They get rid of the evil in that information, and it just becomes information. Once you shed the human body, I guess that's the hardest thing to explain, is how you feel there. Once you shed this wet, bioelectrical machine, everything is different. When it's just raw intelligence, raw being in a quantum state, you have access to everything. Yeah, there won't be any hiding of any information. Anyway, I tried to answer the question. I don't know. I really don't know if we had a soul before that. I know that, we basically, the crystal was grown from here. The crystal grows, that's the root. That's the root there. And then consciousness in us grows the crystal that direction forward through time. Don't know anything about before that. I've often thought about it. It was a major part of my experience, was the thing they wouldn't tell me about, not the stuff that they would tell me about, because they would tell me about pretty much anything. Because they go, oh yeah, you won't remember, you're not going to remember that. It was that, nope, you can't look there. And it was, absolutely, you can't look there. When they showed my life after coming back, and all the terror and the horror and the war and the death that I would see and experience from that moment as a child of innocence, oh man, I'm backpedaling. I'm out of here. No, I'm going to stay. I changed my mind, okay? That's probably why they do it the way they do. But then, bam, the same semi-truck that hit me when I drowned hit me, and I'm back in my body, and there's this guy who brought me back, and I knew instantly this guy is the one who brought me back, and I attacked him like an animal, they said. She goes, I remember my mom saying, Laren, he just saved your life. And I was so mad. Isn't that weird? I'm always feeling sad about that the guy didn't get more credit, because it was a miracle. He was one hell of an athlete, knew resuscitation techniques, was determined not to give up on me. It was wow, one miracle after another. First off, finding me, and then having people watching their watches for 5 minutes so they could declare me dead. It was like, oh great, thanks. So he knew I was in trouble. I don't know how. I guess he was watching me and saw I hadn't come up in a long time. And when he got me back to shore, it was 6 minutes. And everyone was telling me that I'm dead. My mom was crying, and yeah. I've always said, like, as soon as I got, like, Facebook, as soon as technology became available, I said, if you saved a little blonde boy's life at Redbud Park, you know what I mean? Between 1959, 1961, somewhere in there. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, I try to answer the question. It's just going to take another 10 years. I've been at it for 15. It's going to take another 10. The people who've been here on this ride the whole way along, who've had to put up with my other ranty bullshit. Okay, this is why I have this page. But this is why I guess it's done the way it is, because most of my other stuff, people don't want to hear that, and so they go away. But I'll title something a certain way, it catches this person a certain way, and then they watch that video, and I'm talking about this, and they're the person who gave up on religion 20 years ago and lost God. And I'm here to tell you that he's fine and well, okay? He doesn't need humans to believe in him to exist. Quantum mechanics tells you where he lives. Quantum mechanics gives you God's address and tells you that it's possible to get there. Again, I don't know if we had a soul before that. That's my answer for today. I don't know. They wouldn't show me that. It's still a damn mystery to me why I wasn't allowed to look at before. You were Laren before, and when they said that, I literally looked to my left. I literally looked over, and there was, instead of like normal during this whole experience, when they would say anything, I would instantly see it and know it. I would be experiencing it. All knowledge about it. No misunderstanding. You didn't have to explain it twice. But when it came to before, when they said you were Laren before, and when I looked, it was just a swirly gray wall. That was it. So I don't know if we had a soul then. I know that's where we created the information for the growth of this crystal, for this lifetime, for this whatever it is that we're living through. But I can tell you the holographic principle of reality tells us we live on a flat sheet. Quantum mechanics has made too many predictions. It's been right every time, and it only works in a flat universe. This is all a persistent illusion, and if you look at it that way, then anything is possible. You don't need religion to believe in God. I can tell you that, okay? There's a reason why this place exists. And again, that was one of the most traumatic things about my whole experience was I asked question after question, and finally I asked him the question was, why do we have to live this in this? And when I said this, it was this reality. It was almost like an understood object. It was almost like a sphere of something that I understood completely, that it contained everything. And I said, why do we have to do that? And when they told me, it was so crushingly simple and mind-blowingly awesome that for 5 years of my life, all I could think of was, of course, of course, of course. And the feeling never went away. I just didn't know why I had it. What they said, it was always a mystery to me because I couldn't remember that. I said, can I remember that? Can I tell people that? No. They wouldn't, no, you can't tell people that. There were things that happened that are for other videos, but this one's about the gray wall. I don't know why they wouldn't show me, but the dual slit experiment, hey, come on. That won't let us monitor it either. Pretty damn, you know what I mean? Pretty damn clear that we're not supposed to know whatever it is. The thing that gives me anguish and angst really is like, why are you scientists, listen, you guys talk about how if you monitor the experiment, that the results change. Why? I understand the concept of collapsing wave function and interference patterns. All of that makes sense to me, and okay, I agree, okay? Right. Descending probabilities out here, yeah, I got it. I'm good. But why can't we monitor the experiment without changing the results? That's what I want to know. That's the mystery for me. All right. Anyway, I know that didn't answer your question the way you wanted, but all I can tell you is that was not allowed to know that. And I know that's where all information is created over here. I was not allowed to witness or anything beforehand, but they said you were Laren before, and I was obviously there. When they said that, that's where I looked. But no. I just try to tell it the way I lived it. And that way, again, over a long period of time, you'll understand, like me, as you understand and as I explain the experience and then relate it to what's possible today, it was quite different than the 60s when I was trying to understand what happened to me. The technology, the knowledge, my abilities were quite different than today. This bridge, this was an unthinkable bridge. This was fantasy magic shit, even back in the early 80s. But here I am talking to those people I'm supposed to be talking to. That's why I do this. All the other bitchy shit that I talk about, and that's just life. You know what I mean? Everybody has the same problems I do. I think it's healthy to wake up in the morning and go, Jesus, my world's fucked up. I think that's healthy. Okay? Really, I do. All right. I think that's enough for today.